Gestalt Therapy. What is Gestalt Therapy? What are its basic philosophy and key concepts? What are its goals? What are the techniques used in the psychotherapy? And what are some comments about its practice and principles? Allow me to share this with you in this video. What is Gestalt Therapy? Gestalt therapy was developed in the late 1940s by Fritz Perls with his wife Laura Perls. It was developed as a revision to psychoanalysis and focuses on the experiential and humanistic approach rather than analysis of the unconscious, which was one of the main therapeutic tools at the time. It uses also a phenomenological and existential approach to psychotherapy. It focuses on the client's perception of his present reality, and it is also grounded on the notion that people are always in the process of becoming, remaking, and discovering themselves. Gestalt therapy gives special attention to existence as individuals experience it and affirms human capacity for growth, healing through interpersonal contact and insights. It emphasizes on the client's awareness in the here and now, what is happening from one moment to the next, by analyzing behavior and body language and talking about bottled up feelings. Furthermore, Gestalt therapy rejects duality of mind and body and soul, thinking and feeling and action. According to Pearls, people are not made up of separate components. Rather, human beings function as a whole. The German word Gestalt means whole, a configuration, an integration, and the very essence of something. Gestalt therapy focuses on the whole of the client's experience, including feelings, thoughts, and actions. What are the basic philosophy of Gestalt therapy? Gestalt therapists believe that every person strives for wholeness, an integration of thinking, feeling, and behaving. Individual naturally seeks to become an integrated whole, thus living productively. Gestalt therapy is considered here and now therapy, a way of focusing on awareness, with the belief that when one focuses on what they are and not what they wish to become, they become more self-actualized. Also, the idea that through self-acceptance, one becomes self-actualized. Gestalt focuses on the client's own inner world of interpretation and assessment of the present life situation. Gestalt therapists are anti-deterministic because they believe that people have the ability to change and become responsible. They believe that thoughts, feelings, and reaction to past events can impede personal functioning and prevent here and now awareness. The emphasis is on reality and not on the blemished or imagined needs. The individual recognizes their internal need and met that needs through manipulation of the need in the environment. What are the key concepts of Gestalt therapy? The following are the key concepts of Gestalt therapy. Wholeness and integration. Wholeness refers to the whole person or the individual's mind and body as a single unit rather than as separate parts. Integration refers to how these parts fit together and how the individual integrates them into himself and his environment. Gestalt therapy is about facilitating clients to integrate themselves as a whole person and help restore balance in their environment. Awareness. Awareness is one of the most important elements in Gestalt therapy. It is seen as the hallmark of the healthy person and the goal of a treatment. When individuals are aware, they are able to regulate themselves in their environment. There are two main causes of lacking awareness. Number one, preoccupation with one's past, fantasies, flaws, and strength, that the individual become unaware of the whole picture. Number 2, low self-esteem. Lacking of awareness is the main cause of psychological problems in Gestalt therapy. Growth disorder. Growth disorder refers to emotional problems of people who lack awareness and do not interact with their environment completely. In doing so, people are unable to cope with changes in their lives successfully and instead deal with the problems in a defensive manner. There are three ways people may achieve awareness through therapy. First, contact with the environment. This is through looking, listening, touching, talking, moving, smelling, and tasting. This enables the individual to grow in his environment through reacting to the environment and their changes. Second, here and now. This is the individual living in and becoming conscious at the present moment rather than worrying about the past or the future. Number 3, responsibility. This refers to the individual taking responsibility for his or her own life rather than blaming others. Energy and blocks to energy. Gestalt therapists often focus on where energy is in the body, how it is used, and how it may be causing blockage. Blocked energy is a form of resistance. For example, tension in a part of the body, not breathing deeply, or avoiding eye contact. Gestalt therapy is about finding and releasing the blockage that may be inhibiting awareness. Unfinished business. Unfinished business refers to people who do not finish things in their lives and is often related to people with a growth disorder. People with unfinished business often resent the past and because of this are unable to focus on the here and now. One of the major goals of Gestalt therapy is to help people work through their unfinished business and bring about closure. Taking responsibility. Another source of psychological problem is not taking responsibility. Taking responsibility means that one is aware of what is happening to himself and that he owns up to impulses and feelings that comes with them. To do this, clients must have an awareness of what is happening to them in the present moment, as well as awareness of their part of the interaction, internalizing feelings, emotions, or problems, and not being stuck in the past, ruminating on the mistakes or regrets about their actions. Taking responsibility for themselves and realizing how much they can do for themselves and thus gain new and flexible behavior. Another key concepts of Gestalt therapy are contact and contact disturbances. There are 5 layers of contact or 5 layers of neurosis. These layers must be taken away for a person to mature psychologically. As each layer is removed, more meaningful contact with the client and his environment can occur. The first layer, the pony layer. It is when an individual reacts in an unauthentic manner, when he is not true to himself and his feelings and others. The second layer, the phobic layer. It is when an individual avoids psychological pain. There are elements of denial and fear. The third layer, the impasse layer. It is when the client is stuck and being afraid to change. The fourth layer, the implosive layer. It is when the client experiences better awareness of himself but not yet ready to take action related to those feelings. There are hesitations for changes. The fifth layer, the explosive layer. It is when the client is authentic and living as a genuine person. A client must reach this level to become fully alive. Contact boundary disturbances. This happens when the boundary between individual and others and his environment become unclear and disturbed, disrupted, and falls apart. First, confluence. This is when the boundary between individual and others become weaker. Second, introjection. This is when the client accepts others' view without subjecting them to scrutiny or challenging them. Third, projection. It refers to individual assigning aspects of themselves to others in effort to dismiss those aspects. Fourth, retrojection. It is when individuals take action to direct toward themselves what they really want people to do to them. And fifth, deflection. It is when the clients try to avoid or lessen contact with others. What are the goals of Gestalt Therapy? These are the goals of Gestalt Therapy: to assist clients in gaining awareness, the moment-to-moment experiencing, and expanding one's capacity to make choices. Gestalt Therapy aims not at analysis, but to an integration. Gestalt Therapy emphasizes on the here and now of the client's experience. It encourages the client to make choices based on the now and not on the past. To address any unfinished business, helping the client resolve the past. Gestalt Therapy aims also to assist the client to become congruent and to reach maturity intellectually. It also helps the client to shed layers of neurosis. Also, to help the person to establish meaningful contact with the world, to increase acceptance and responsibility, and generally, for an individual to be wholly integrated person. What are the techniques used in Gestalt Therapy? Number 1, confrontation. This is a significant part of the therapeutic process of Gestalt Therapy. It is highly confrontational. To some, it is really intimidating. However, it serves its purpose, bringing the focus to the here and now, letting the client become aware of their feelings. Basically, the counselor calls attention to the incongruence between the client's verbalizations and the expressions of emotions or their behavior. Second, enactment. For example, the client says, "I feel like a scary monster." The therapist would say, "Act like a scary monster," or "Show me what is that scary monster." Third, self-dialogue. The empty chair technique. The client has to talk to a significant other or others who had hurt him or person they have resolved issues with in the past, and talk to them as if they are present there. The two-chair technique, where the client may switch perspectives between himself and the significant other by switching chairs. It is a good technique aimed at resolving the past. Fourth, using language to enhance awareness. The use of the word "I" to increase responsibility. Fifth, nonverbal behavior. Gestalt therapy is highly directive. The exaggeration or over-dramatizing of clients' gestures and movements, they are also used to gain insights into their meaning. When someone is looking down or fidgeting, the therapist may ask, "What does this behavior mean?" to gain insight and know its meaning. Sixth, role-playing. To become the significant person in the past or in the future, or talking to one's old self or future self. Sometimes talking to one's future baby or the baby she had lost. Seventh, homework. To bring something to be explored in the next session. Criticism and comments on Gestalt Therapy. First, for Gestalt Therapy to be effective, the therapist must have a high level of personal development. Second, the effectiveness of the confronting techniques of Gestalt Therapy is limited and has not been well established. Third, the approach which is concerned with just individual development. Fourth, potential danger for therapists to abuse the power they have with the clients. Fifth, a lack of strong theoretical base. And sixth, it deals only with the here and now and does not deal with diagnosis and testing. That's all. Thank you, and hope you have learned something about my discussion about Gestalt Therapy.